Treehouse of Horror stories. They were the style at the time, but even now, they seem to be Modern Simpsons' most ingenious episodes. Some of them are filled with zombies, others are all about vampires and werewolves, while most of them are not even remotely Halloween related, but just an excuse to parody popular movies and forget about logic and continuity for about half an hour. A couple aliens often show up too.
What do aliens have to do with Halloween?
So since Halloween is just around the corner, I wanna count down the top 10 best Treehouse of Horror segments from The Simpsons. That is, my favorite segments, so make sure to let me know in the comments what's your favorite and let's hop into the video.
But sir,
I said hop in.
Number 10, Clown Without Pity.
That doll is evil, I tells ya! Evil! Evil!
Grandpa, you said that about all the presents.
I just want attention.
Homer forgets to buy a present for Bart's birthday, so he stops by the nearest House of Evil to buy him a toy. He ends up buying Bart a talking Krusty doll, which unfortunately carries a terrible curse, and comes with a free Frogurt. It's soon revealed that the doll wants to kill Homer for no particular reason, so the whole segment revolves around the doll's repeated attempts to murder him. This is probably the shortest segment of all, as it doesn't even last 5 minutes, but I swear on Grandpa's grave,
Hey!
it's just as entertaining as the others. You have the brief exchange between Homer and the shopkeeper, Grandpa's need for attention, Patty's last lingering thread of heterosexuality, and Homer claiming the toaster's been laughing at him. And to top it all off, its simple and anticlimactic resolution is the perfect way to end such a short story that deals with very serious topics such as murder, curses, and potassium benzoate.
that's bad.
Number 9. Don't Have a Cow, Mankind.
When we get you to the safe zone, we can cure your father.
Safe zone? You really think there's a safe zone? Well, you're right, it's right over there.
This is, hands down, my favorite Treehouse story from the entire third decade of The Simpsons. It really feels like they put as much effort and attention to detail into it as they used to back in the day, and I must say the other two segments of this Treehouse of Horror are very enjoyable as well. This one deals with the usual recurring zombie apocalypse scenario, with Bart turning out to be the chosen one who can put an end to the Muncher invasion, and the Simpson family trying to save mankind. The story is not bad, and there are some pretty good moments and jokes, even though they're not all thigh slappers, but let me remind you it's Modern Simpsons we're talking about. I'm not fond of the ending, but I rarely am when it comes to such short stories. I'm sure it's not that easy to write a decent conclusion for these Halloween shows. Only after rewatching this segment, I realized how Apu hardly appears at all in Treehouse of Horror episodes. He's one of those secondary characters in horror movies who show up only to die a few moments later.
That was so noble of Apu to give his life for us.
Where are you going? You're supposed to stop at the bottom and wait for me!
Number 8. The HΩmega Man. This one doesn't start off in the most exciting way ever. The first 2 minutes are just the setup, while the actual action actually takes place in the remaining 5. That's still enough time for Homer to survive a nuclear explosion, cry for the loss of little Bart, Lisa, Marge, and the rest, being chased by mutants and eat prime rib, while at the same time dealing with a scary post-apocalyptic world.
A coffin!
Thank goodness everything works out in the end and no one got hurt, except everyone, mutants included.
Friends with mutants, right.
Also, I always forget that the zombie car in The Simpsons Hit and Run, which is just the best video game that ever existed, is from this very segment, so it gets all my respect just for that. Can you even imagine what an honor it is to be featured in such an amazing game? Where'd she go? Number 7. The Devil and Homer Simpson. This one's a classic segment featuring Ned Flanders as the devil and Homer selling him his soul in exchange for a donut. I'm not sure why, but Flanders works perfectly as the Prince of Darkness or as the antagonist in general in these Halloween stories. I don't know, I just like the cut of his jib. In an attempt to save Homer's butt, Lisa gets the devil to hold the trial, and luckily Marge manages to find a loophole to save her husband. But not before Lionel Hutz could show off some of his law-talking guy skills.
But I ask you, what is a contract? Webster's defines it as an agreement under the law which is unbreakable. Which is unbreakable.
I don't know if this is just me, but I absolutely love the visuals here, really. No other segment tops its amazing animation and frame composition. Also, the shot of the family cheering as they win the trial, well, that might not be fancy and all, but it's so damn perfect looking anyway. Number 6. I know what you Diddily-Iddily-Did.
Try not to look too sad. It'll seem suspicious.
Marge accidentally runs over Ned Flanders during one of his late-night fog walks, so Homer tries to cover it up by faking Ned's death in front of Maude.
Wow, it sure is slippery up here!
My pies are done.
Oh, she missed it.
We later have a funeral, a brief mystery, the family being chased by an unknown figure, and to wrap it all up in a neat little package, they reveal Flanders didn't die in the accident, as mere seconds before Marge ran him over, he was bitten by a werewolf. Sure, why not? One thing I really enjoy is the bit of Moe creepily trying to call Maude after Ned's death, because even though these Halloween segments are not canon, that's still a nice detail considering how just a few episodes later, after Maude's actual death, Moe will admit he wouldn't have waited to hit on her if Ned was the one who died.
That's it, let it out. Send me to more, that's it. Oh, here I come, baby. Oh, yeah.
As a side note, I love how in the Italian dub of the episode, Homer's impression of Flanders includes many more diddlies and oakleys and stuff compared to the original English dub. It might not seem like much, but when I watched the episode in English for the very first time, I was kinda disappointed Homer didn't overuse Ned's filler words as much.
Ehi Maud, sono a casa, Modina! Ai 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 ai, oh, temo di avere un infartino, sai?
Number 5. The Ned Zone. Yet another Ned story. This guy is just perfect for Halloween. This segment seems to be always kind of overlooked when it's so damn darn great.
Help me! Some bullies threw my shoes over a telephone wire. With me in them.
After Homer hit him on the head with a bowling ball, Flanders gains the ability to foretell people's deaths, anticipating Dr. Hibbert's announced moments, which is not that hard to predict anyway. It would be much harder to find out how he manages to always come back from the dead instead. Later on, Neddy has a vision of himself killing Homer, so he does his best to save his friend's life. But he ends up shooting Homer anyway, and as a side effect, destroying Springfield as well. I blame Lenny's ice cream cake. There are just so many great moments, and the ending of course is just flawless, with the garage making it into heaven and God giving Homer what's coming to him, his frisbee. As I said before, it's not that easy to write a great ending for these Halloween shows, but here they just nailed it. Number 4. Dial Z for Zombies. Here Bart finds a book of black magic and accidentally reanimates hundreds of corpses from Springfield Cemetery, leading to a zombie invasion. But don't you worry, the car's okay.
Alright then.
Actually, come to think of it, this segment is simply packed with memorable Homer moments.
Homer, did you barricade the door?
Why? Oh, the zombies. No.
I love how in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, everyone, besides Marge and the kids, seems to just ignore the whole zombie thing. With Principal Skinner obviously being a zombie and everyone simply adapting to it, or the zombies having their own radio stations and TV programs, well, people just go along with it and let them be. It's as if everyone in Springfield couldn't be bothered to try to fix the problem. This one has a very good ending too, and one detail I really enjoy is how Maggie helps the family barricade the window with her tiny little hammer. You might go, Maggie, oh, cute. But come on, she's just adorable. Number 3. Time and Punishment.
I have an idea. These wieners will give me the quick energy I need to escape.
This is arguably the most diverse segment of all. It contains a bit of everything and it never fails to make you laugh, even after the 50th time you watch it. You have Ned Flanders inexplicably becoming the unquestioned lord and master of the world, Grandpa's time traveling advice, the perfect alternate universe, Willie brutally axed in the back, you name it. It's just one fun, great, memorable episode, and watching such a great show just makes me feel that I'm a really lucky guy.
Dad! Your hand is jammed in the toaster!
What?
As far as I'm concerned, the only flaw it has is that it's not a full-length 20 minutes long episode, cause it would have been amazing if they explored this concept much more thoroughly.
It's raining again.
Number 2. Bart Simpson's Dracula.
Quick! We have to kill the boy! way!
How'd you know he's a vampire?
He's a vampire? Ah!
This one works so well because of how random the whole thing is, mostly due to the reveal of Marge being the head vampire all along. Kinda makes you wonder why she bothered to go kill Mr. Burns with her family in the first place. But, meh, what are you gonna do? I actually like to think she planned the whole thing all along for some mysterious reason anyway. After all, these Halloween stories are so twisted that I would totally buy it if there was a very complex or even dumb motive behind all of it. This segment is literally jam-packed with iconic moments, gags and jokes full-on early Simpson style. So much so that if I were to mention every line I enjoyed, I would probably simply end up transcribing the whole episode.
Super fun happy slide!
No, Dad.
Oh, I guess killing will be fun enough.
Now, I don't have enough time to write a speech to introduce the honorable mentions. I do have a life outside this channel, you know, so here you go. Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace. I love the concept in general, and also the flashback that explains why Willie's ghost is on a killing spree, but I don't like the idea of Milhouse having 2 spaghetti meals in one day. Ghost Dad, which is definitely memorable for its opening piece and the unusually specific horoscope thing. Nightmare Cafeteria, I love how the teachers are totally cool with eating the students, and how a laid-back Marge conveniently decides to stop being overprotective though one day her kids' lives are at stake. E.T. Go Home, as even though we see Kang and Kodos in literally every Treehouse of Horror episode, they rarely have any kind of role in them. So besides containing some pretty good jokes, this one is significant just for Kodos being the center of attention. The Thing and I, mainly because of Dr. Hibbert absolutely stealing the show, and I'd like to add to the bunch season 27's Halloween of Horror, which technically isn't a Treehouse of Horror segment, but it's the only episode that's actually taking place on Halloween, and it's one of Modern Simpsons' most well-thought and nicely executed episodes. It just deserves to be mentioned when it comes to Halloween shows, really. It's so unexpectedly good, it makes you yell, "Oh my god," in disbelief as if there were 5 cents of wax paper. And finally, my number 1 pick is The Shinning.
You mean Shining.
Shh! You wanna get sued?
I know, this is totally, utterly, absolutely predictable, but I just couldn't deny the segment the top spot. In a parody of The Shining, the Simpsons are employed to take care of Mr. Burns' lodge for the winter. Mr. Burns cuts the cable television wire and takes away the beer supply, confident that the family will work harder this way.
Tell you what, we come back and everyone's slaughtered, I owe you a Coke.
Unfortunately, no TV and no beer make Homer go crazy, and since some kind of phantom mole or something tells him that the only way he can get a beer is by killing his family, Homer begins chasing them with an axe. Even though this is a parody, it ends up feeling like something totally different from the actual movie, and I can't help but think of how cool a longer version of this segment would have been. The premise could actually have done wonders in a regular episode, and not necessarily a Halloween show. I think this one, along with Time and Punishment and Nightmare Cafeteria, simply makes Treehouse of Horror 5 a work of art. This trilogy is the perfect mix of suspense, fun, Willie getting axed in the back, and nonsense.
Mom, is Dad gonna kill us?
We're just gonna have to wait and see.
So that's about it. Again, let me know in the comments what's your favorite segment, and perhaps write down your own top 10s too. I swear I'm gonna read them all and judge you, so you'd better like the episodes I like. Also, don't forget to smash the neat button, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!